lecture we have discussed about the correction factor. In the last lecture we have discussed about the correction factor. Then we have discussed one problem on LMTD. Today in this lecture we are going to discuss one more problem on logarithmic mean temperature difference, and I think that much will be sufficient for uh, uh, to get the idea related to problems on logarithmic mean temperature difference. Okay, and further we'll move for the next point, that is nothing but effectiveness and number of transfer units, that is uh, effectiveness NTU method. Okay, so you can write the second number problem number 2. Problem number 2: the following data related to the following data related to the following data related to parallel flow heat exchanger. The following data related to parallel flow heat exchanger. Parallel flow heat exchanger in which air is heated in which air is heated in which air is heated air is heated by hot exhaust gases by hot exhaust gases by hot exhaust gases. Full stop. Heat transfer per hour is equal to heat transfer per hour is equal to 15,540 15,540 15,540 kilojoule 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 kilojoule. Full stop. Then next, inside heat transfer coefficient is equal to is equal to inside heat transfer coefficient is equal to 120 watt per meter square degree Celsius. 120 watt per meter square degree Celsius, and outside heat transfer coefficient it is equal to 195 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Then inlet and outlet temperatures of hot fluid equal to 450 degrees Celsius 450 degrees Celsius and 250 degrees Celsius and 250 degrees Celsius. Then inlet and outlet temperature of cold fluid which is equal to 60 degrees Celsius and 120 degrees Celsius. Inlet and outlet temperatures of cold fluid equal to 60 degrees Celsius, 120 degrees Celsius. Then inside and outside diameter of tube. Then inside and outside diameter of tube, which is equal to 50 mm and 60 mm. Inside is 50 mm and outside is 60 mm. Then what we have to calculate? Okay, calculate the length of the length of tube required for necessary required for necessary heat transfer to occur. Okay, required for the necessary heat transfer to occur. Okay, so this is the problem statement. So heat exchanger type is already provided, that parallel flow heat exchanger is there. Okay, and the heat transfer rate is also provided. So heat transfer per hour. Now this particular heat transfer is provided in a per hour. Okay, so we have to convert this heat transfer in per second. Okay, and kilojoule, it is provided in a kilojoule, so we have to consider it in joule. Okay, then all the data, that is heat transfer coefficient, internal heat transfer coefficient, outside heat transfer coefficient, inlet temperature conditions and outlet temperature conditions are provided. And lastly they have provided that what will be the length of that particular tube or that particular heat exchanger will be required to transfer the given heat. Okay, so whatever the heat transfer rate is provided, so that heat transfer rate, to achieve that heat transfer rate, what will be the length of that heat exchanger, so that length we have to determine. So now here they have directly mentioned that neglect the tube resistance. Okay, neglect the tube resistance. So where we have to consider the tube resistance. Okay, so first of all we have to analyze that where we require the tube resistance. So in case of a overall heat transfer coefficient, in case of overall heat transfer coefficient, we are calculating the heat transfer coefficient based on the resistance only. Okay, so in that case we have to neglect the tube resistance. Okay, so first of all we will write the given data. So Q is provided in a kilojoule per hour, and it is equal to 15,000. How much it is? Okay, 1,55,450. Okay, kilojoule per hour. Now we have to convert that into a joule per second. Okay, so we have to multiply with 1,000 to convert kilojoule into joule, and we have to divide with 3,600 to convert hours in a second. Okay, then in inner side heat transfer coefficient is provided, so that we can consider as H suffix I, which will be equal to 120 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Then outer side heat transfer coefficient is provided, and that we have to consider as 195 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Then the inlet temperature of a hot fluid is provided, so that will be considered as T suffix H1, which will be equal to 450 degrees Celsius. And outlet fluid temperature is provided for the hot fluid, and that we have to consider as TH2, that will be equal to 250. Then cold fluid temperatures are provided. TC1 inlet cold fluid temperature 60 degrees Celsius, and TC2 outlet fluid temperature 120 degrees Celsius. Then the diameter of tubes are provided, inner diameter and outer diameter. So inner diameter is 50 mm and outer diameter is 60 mm. Okay, that will be considered in meter as 0.05 and 0.06 meter, and we have to determine the length of the tube. We have to determine the length of tube. Okay, so solution. So that first of all we have to revise that what formulas we required. Okay, and where we will get the length of tube. Okay, obviously in case of a tube or a cylinder, we know that the length or the cylinder area is represented as 2 pi RL. Okay, the cylinder area is represented as 2 pi RL. So in case of area only we will get the length. Okay, in case of area only we will get the length. Then in which formula of a heat exchanger the area is included? Included. So we know that Q is equal to U multiply by A multiply by theta suffix M. Okay, so that is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient multiply by equivalent area multiply by LMTD, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference. Okay, so in that formula the area is included. So out of that particular formula, which quantities are given in the data? So first one is nothing but Q is given. Okay, overall total heat transfer rate is provided. Okay, and that we have converted into joule per second. Okay, then theta m is unknown, and the overall heat transfer coefficient is unknown. So to calculate area, we required these two quantities, that is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient, and second thing is nothing but logarithmic mean temperature difference. Okay, so first unknown that we have to determine, that is overall heat transfer coefficient, and here they have not mentioned that calculate the overall heat transfer coefficient on the basis of inner surface or on the basis of outer surface. So you can consider any of the overall heat transfer coefficient. You can consider on the basis of inner surface also, and on the basis of inner surface area, or you can consider on the basis of outer surface area. So accordingly, you have to make the changes in the formula of overall heat transfer coefficient, or the particular overall heat transfer coefficient you have to select. Okay, so in this case, I have considered the overall heat transfer coefficient based on a outer surface area. So my equation for the overall heat transfer coefficient will become U naught is equal to 1 divided by R naught divided by Ri multiplied by 1 divided by Hi plus R naught multiplied by ln of R naught divided by Ri whole divided by K plus 1 divided by H naught. Okay, so that will be the equation for the overall heat transfer coefficient for particular heat exchanger. Okay, now here please check once again that whether all the quantities are available with you or not. Okay, whatever the formula quantities are whether available with you or not. So R naught Ri, that is the diameters are provided, so you can calculate the outer diameter, outer radius, and the inner radius. H suffix I is nothing but the heat transfer coefficient based on or inside heat transfer coefficient, and H naught is the outside heat transfer coefficient. But they have provided directly. Now here the thermal conductivity is not provided, but in the problem statement it is provided that neglect the tube resistance. So which quantity is dealing with the tube resistance? So this quantity, the conductive resistance quantity, is dealing with the tube is dealing with the heat transfer through the tube. So we have to neglect this particular resistance offered by the tube. Okay, and once we neglect the tube resistance, then we will get the overall heat transfer coefficient formula as U naught is equal to 1 divided by R naught divided by Ri multiplied by 1 upon Hi plus 1 upon H naught. Okay, so put up all the values. Okay, now all the quantities are known to you, or it is provided in the given data, so you can calculate the U naught value. Okay, that is overall heat transfer coefficient based on a outer surface area. Okay, overall heat transfer coefficient based on a outer. Okay, so put up all the values. Okay, and calculate U naught. So U naught will be equal to 1 divided by, so 0.06 is the outer diameter, so radius will be 0.03, and inner diameter is 0.05 meter, and therefore the radius will become 0.025. Okay, then H naught is 100, and H suffix I is 120, and H naught is 195. Put up all the values and calculate U naught. Okay, everyone do the calculation of U naught. Okay, so U naught, my answer is 66.10. Please check whether you are getting the same answer or not. Now, one of the unknown we have determined, that is nothing but overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay, overall heat transfer coefficient. Then the second unknown is nothing but the LMTD, okay, that is theta suffix m, that we have to determine LMTD. So which we required in the formula, that is q is equal to u multiply by a multiply by theta m. Okay, so we have to calculate LMTD, but but for that purpose we have to consider that the case or the problem is about the parallel flow. So in parallel flow, theta 1 is given as th1 minus tc1, and theta 2 is given as th2 minus tc2. Okay, so th1 is 450 and tc1 is 60. So 450 minus 60, and that will get theta 1 as 390, and theta 2 will become th2 minus tc2, and it is equal to 250 minus 120. So we will get 130. Okay, so first of all we have to check that the problem is related to the LMTD or the AMTD, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference or arithmetic mean temperature difference. Okay, so which we have to use, that we have to check first of all. So for that purpose we have given one note that if the ratio of theta 1 to theta 2 is greater than 1.7, in that case you have to use the LMTD formulas, and if this ratio is less than 1.7, then you have to use the AMTD, that is arithmetic mean temperature difference. Okay, so in this case, theta 1 divided by theta 2 is greater than 1.7, that we get the ratio as a 3. So we can use the LMTD formula. Okay, we can use the LMTD formula. So LMTD for the parallel flow, it is same for the parallel flow, counter flow, but the difference is about the theta 1 and theta 2. Okay, for the parallel flow and counter flow. So remember this particular point. So in case of LMTD, for the parallel flow, theta theta m will be equal to theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by ln of theta 1 divided by theta 2. Okay, ln of theta 1 divided by theta 2. So do calculation and find out theta m. Calculation, do calculation everyone, and calculate theta m. Please let me know whether my answer is correct or not about the u naught, where you have calculated u naught. Please put up that u naught answer, whether you are getting the same answer or not, and then calculate the theta m also. Please let me know your answer. Okay, about u naught and theta m. Okay, do calculation everyone. Okay, these problems are important one. do calculation for L. Okay, and please let me know the value of L. Okay, what value you are getting. $14.64. Okay, great. Same value I am also getting 14.64, and it should be in a meter. Okay, it should be in a meter. Okay, everyone getting the same value. So then can I move ahead to the next point? So write down the heading as heat exchanger effectiveness and number of transfer unit. Heat exchanger effectiveness and number of transfer units. Okay, so here, if you discuss, we have discussed last couple of lecture. In last couple of lecture, we have discussed about the LMTD. Okay, and we have expert now. I think so. We are expert now to calculate the logarithmic mean temperature difference. Okay, but to calculate this logarithmic mean temperature difference, it is most required that you should know all the temperature conditions, that is inlet conditions and outlet condition. Then and then only you can calculate logarithmic mean temperature difference or arithmetic mean temperature difference. But if one of the temperature condition, let us say the inlet temperature of a hot fluid is not known to me, or the outlet temperature of a hot fluid is not known to me, or outlet temperature of a cold fluid is not known to me. So in that case, it is very difficult, or it will not be possible to use LMTD as the analysis, or LMTD methodology for the analysis of heat exchanger. Okay, so in that case we have to consider such a method that in that we can calculate the unknown temperature conditions of fluids. Okay, so this particular heat exchanger effectiveness and number of transfer units, this particular methodology or the analysis technique is used whenever there is one of the temperature condition is not provided, or it is unknown to you. So in that case also you can determine the temperature conditions for the heat exchangers, and you can perform the further analysis for the heat exchanger. Okay, so here I have mentioned that heat exchanger can be designed by the LMTD when the inlet and outlet temperatures conditions, outlet conditions are specified. So here you can say that inlet and outlet temperature conditions are specified. So in that case you can use directly LMTD methodology and or the LMTD analysis techniques, and you can go for the designing. But whenever there is a possibility that when the problem is to determine the inlet and outlet conditions, okay, inlet and outlet temperature conditions, okay, so in that case for particular heat exchanger, the analysis is performed more easily by using method based on effectiveness of the heat exchanger and number of transfer units. Okay, and number of transfer units. So here, first of all, let us understand what is meant by heat exchanger effectiveness. Okay, so the definition of a heat exchanger effectiveness is taken from its formula, that is, it is the ratio of actual heat transfer to the maximum possible heat transfer. Okay, actual heat transfer to the maximum possible heat transfer. So same definition we have used in case of fin. Okay, fin effectiveness. So fins are nothing but one kind of a heat exchanger only. Okay, fins are nothing but one kind of a heat exchanger. So in that case also we have used this particular this concept of effectiveness. Okay, so same concept we are using over here that is heat exchanger effectiveness. And in that case also we have discussed this point, the actual heat transfer divided by maximum heat transfer. Okay, so the effectiveness represented as eta will be equal to Q divided by Q max, where Q is nothing but actual heat transfer and Q max is the maximum heat transfer. Now, actual heat transfer, we have always determining that actual heat transfer. So that is nothing but heat lost by the hot fluid, which will be equal to the heat gain by the cold fluid. So that heat transfer, that is m dot c multiplied by CPC multiplied by TC2 minus TC1, which is equal to m dot h multiplied by CPH multiplied by inside bracket TH1 minus TH2. So that heat transfer rate we can determine or we can consider as the actual heat transfer rate. But how to determine the maximum heat transfer rate in case of a heat exchanger? Okay, so actual heat transfer Q will be provided as in this fashion, that is Q is equal to CPH multiplied by m dot h multiplied by TH1 minus TH2, which will be equal to, so this is the heat loss by the hot fluid, and that amount of equal amount of heat will be gained by the cold fluid, and which will be equal to CPC multiplied by m dot c multiplied by TC2 minus TC1. Okay, so here we know that the CPH multiplied by m dot h or m dot h multiplied by CPH, that is nothing but the heat capacity. Okay, cold hot fluid heat capacity, and for that we can write C suffix H, and the CPC multiplied by m dot C, that is nothing but heat capacity of cold fluid, and that we are representing as C suffix C. Okay, that we are representing as C suffix C. Okay, so that is the heat capacity of cold fluid. Okay, so now here the most important part of this particular effectiveness is that we have to compare this particular CH and CC, that is the heat capacity rate of a cold fluid and heat capacity rate of a hot fluid. So that we have to compare first of all. Okay, so I'm getting C suffix H as 5.5 and C suffix C, that is the heat capacity, thermal heat capacity of a cold fluid, I'm getting as a 4. Okay, so which one is greater one? Okay, 5.5 is greater one or 4.5 is greater one? So obviously 5.5 is greater one. So so I can say that C suffix H is greater than C suffix C. Okay, C suffix H is greater than C suffix C. So in that case we have to provide the nomenclature to respective heat capacity rates. Okay, so the value, which value we are getting the minimum value. Okay, so for that value or that particular heat capacity rate, we are providing the nomenclature as C minimum. Okay, okay, let it be, it may be CH or CC. Okay, and the maximum value we are getting for which heat capacity rate. So for that particular heat capacity, we are providing the nomenclature as C max. Okay, C max will be the maximum fluid capacity. So one will be C minimum and another will be C max. Okay, so it will not be a fix for all the heat exchanger. In some heat exchanger you will get CH as C max, in some heat exchanger you will get CC as C max, or it will be vary depending on its temperature conditions and fluid properties or the fluid which are using to transfer the heat. Okay, to transfer the heat. Okay, so on that basis you have to decide that which one is the C minimum and which one is the C max. Now the next condition is most important. Okay, so I will read this condition, that the maximum rate of heat transfer for parallel or counter flow would be occur if the outlet temperature of the fluid with the smaller value of fluid capacity, that is C minimum, were to be equal to the इनलेट टेम्परेचर ऑफ अदर फ्लूइड. ओके, यहाँ पे क्या बोला है? ओके, इस स्टेटमेंट को पहले एक बार और पढ़िए और समझ लीजिए इस स्टेटमेंट के बारे में. ओके, कौन सा भी हीट एक्सचेंजर हो, पैरेलल हो, काउंटर हो, एक फ्लूइड का हमें मिनिमम हीट कैपेसिटी मिलेगी. ओके, एक फ्लूइड के हमें मिनिमम हीट कैपेसिटी मिलेगी. उस फ्लूइड की हीट कैपेसिटी को हम सी मिनिमम बोलेंगे. ओके, नाउ उसका जो आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर है, उस फ्लूइड का जो आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर है, वो आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर दूसरे फ्लूइड के इनलेट के टेम्परेचर जितना होगा, तब वो जो हीट ट्रांसफर हो रही है, ओके, इस कंडीशन में जो हीट ट्रांसफर हो रही है वो मैक्सिमम रेट ऑफ हीट ट्रांसफर कहलाएगी। ओके, वो मैक्सिमम हीट ट्रांसफर रेट कहलाएगी। द मैक्सिमम रेट ऑफ हीट ट्रांसफर फॉर पैरेलल or counter flow would be occur if the outlet temperature of the fluid with smaller value of a fluid capacity, that is C minimum, were to be equal to the inlet temperature of the other fluid, were to be equal to the inlet temperature of the other fluid. Okay, so let us understand this. If you are considering that, okay, if you are considering that the CH is the C minimum, okay, that is the heat capacity of the hot fluid, is we are getting the C minimum. So in that case, Q max will be equal to CH inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. Okay, so what this statement saying, okay, गौर कीजिएगा इस पर क्या बोल रही है स्टेटमेंट। सो जी, जो आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर है वो दूसरे के इनलेट के टेम्परेचर जितना होना चाहिए। ओके, सो वी नो दैट Q इज नथिंग बट व्हाट, Q इज नथिंग बट व्हाट, CH इनसाइड द ब्रैकेट TH1 माइनस TH2। नाउ हॉट फ्लूइड का आउटसाइड का टेम्परेचर क्या है और आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर क्या है, TH2 है। नाउ ये अगर हमने CH को C मिनिमम कंसीडर किया तो हॉट फ्लूइड का आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर हमें कोल्ड फ्लूइड के इनलेट के टेम्परेचर जितना मिलना चाहिए। ओके, कोल्ड फ्लूइड के टेम्परेचर, इनलेट के टेम्परेचर जितना मिलना चाहिए, तब उस हीट ट्रांसफर को हम मैक्सिमम रेट ऑफ हीट ट्रांसफर बोलेंगे। ओके, तब उस हीट ट्रांसफर को हम मैक्सिमम रेट ऑफ हीट ट्रांसफर बोलेंगे। ओके, सो सेम वी हैव अप्लाइड दैट Q max will be equal to CH inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. Now here we have modified this equation. Q will become a Q max when CH is a C minimum inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. Okay, so now here TH1 is equal to the TC1. TH1 is equal to TC1. So condition is that TH2 is equal to TC1. Outlet का hot fluid के outlet का temperature inlet cold fluid के inlet temperature जितना होना चाहिए। Okay, so in that case CH is equal to C minimum. Okay, so Q max. Or else we can also write that if you are getting CC as a C minimum, that is the heat transfer heat capacity of a cold fluid as a minimum heat capacity. So in that case you can write Q max is equal to C suffix C inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. Now here what we have changed about this equation. So Q is equal to CC inside the bracket TC2 minus TC1. Okay. नाउ कोल्ड फ्लूइड का आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर कितना है, कोल्ड फ्लूइड के आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर कितना है, TC2। सो ये TC2 टेम्परेचर दूसरे फ्लूइड के इनलेट टेम्परेचर जितना होना चाहिए। ओके, सो TC2 इक्वल टू TH1। ओके, इक्वल टू TH1, कोल्ड फ्लूइड के आउटलेट का टेम्परेचर, दूसरा फ्लूइड कौन सा है, हॉट फ्लूइड है, हॉट फ्लूइड के इनलेट टेम्परेचर जितना होना चाहिए। ओके, सो वी कैन रिप्लेस दैट TC2 बाय TH1. Okay, TC2 by TH1, so that we can write Q max is equal to C suffix C inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. So here we have changed TC2 by TH1, TC2 by TH1. Okay, so here we will get Q max is equal to CC inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1, where TC2 is equal to TH1 and CC is equal to C minimum. So then we can write the effectiveness, okay, effectiveness of a heat exchanger, that is we know that the Q, that is the actual heat transfer. So we can consider the actual heat transfer divided by maximum possible heat transfer, maximum possible heat transfer. So in both the cases we are getting C minimum inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. So you, in that case, we can calculate the effectiveness as CH inside the bracket TH1 minus TH2 whole divided by, this is the actual heat transfer, and which is also equal to CC inside the bracket TC2 minus TC1. So you can consider any of this, okay, and divided by maximum possible heat transfer. Okay, so that is C minimum inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1, and which is also equal to CC inside the bracket TC2 minus TC1 whole divided by C minimum inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. Okay, so this is the Q. Okay, this is the Q max and this is the eta. So by using the same equation, we can calculate the actual heat transfer rate. Okay. So once the effectiveness is known, the heat transfer rate can be easily calculated by using the equation Q is equal to effectiveness, that is nothing but eta multiplied by C minimum inside the bracket TH1 minus TC1. Okay, TH1 minus TC1. Getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt about the effectiveness? Okay. So you can write heat exchange effectiveness and number of transfer units. Heat exchange effectiveness and number of transfer units. Heat exchange exchanger effectiveness and number of transfer units. Heat exchanger effectiveness and number of transfer units. Okay. The first point in that you can write heat exchanger, heat exchanger, heat exchanger can be designed, heat exchanger can be designed by the LMTD, that is logarithmic mean temperature difference. Heat exchanger can be designed by the LMTD, when the inlet and outlet temperature conditions are specified. When the inlet and outlet temperature conditions are specified. When the inlet and outlet temperature conditions are specified. Full stop. Next point. However, 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 when the problem is to determine, however, when the problem is to determine, however, when the problem is to determine the inlet and outlet temperature conditions, however, when the problem is to determine the inlet and outlet temperature conditions for a particular heat exchanger, outlet temperature conditions for a particular heat exchanger for a particular heat exchanger, comma, the analysis is performed more easily, the analysis is performed more easily, the analysis is performed more easily by using a method, the analysis is performed more easily by using a method, by using a method, by using a method based on effectiveness of heat exchanger, based on effectiveness of heat exchanger, based on effectiveness of the heat exchanger, and number of transfer units, and number of transfer units, and number of transfer units, that is in bracket NTU, in bracket NTU. Okay, in bracket NTU. So first one we are going to discuss about the heat exchanger effectiveness. Heat exchanger effectiveness. So give the heading heat exchanger effectiveness in bracket eta. Symbol eta we have to use for the effectiveness. Okay. So in that you can write it is the ratio of actual heat transfer. It is the ratio of actual heat transfer. It is the ratio of actual heat transfer to the maximum possible heat transfer. To the maximum possible heat transfer. To the maximum possible heat transfer. Okay. So mathematically you can write eta is equal to Q divided by Q max. Eta is equal to Q divided by Q max. Q divided by Q max. Then the next one, the actual heat transfer can be determined. the actual heat transfer rate can be determined from energy balance equation. The actual heat transfer rate can be determined from energy balance equation. So which is our energy balance equation? Q is equal to Cp suffix H multiplied by m dot H multiplied by inside the bracket Th1 minus Th2. So which is heat lost by the hot fluid, and which will be equal to Cpc multiplied by m dot C multiplied by Tc2 minus Tc1, which is heat gained by the cold fluid. So we know that Cph m dot H is nothing but Ch, heat capacity of hot fluid, and Cpc multiplied by m dot C, that is the C suffix C, heat capacity rate of cold fluid. So you can write Q is equal to C suffix H inside bracket Th1 minus Th2, which will be equal to C suffix C inside the bracket Tc2 minus Tc1. Okay, so we have to decide, okay, which one is the smaller and which one is the larger about this CH and CC, okay, on the basis of their values. Okay, so C minimum is equal to minimum fluid capacity rate in bracket, कोई भी हो सकता है, CH हो सकता है और CC भी हो सकता है. Okay, C minimum is equal to the minimum fluid capacity rate in bracket CH or CC. Then C max is equal to, okay, एक छोटा होगा तो दूसरा बड़ा होगा. C max is equal to the maximum fluid capacity rate, in bracket CH or CC, in bracket CH or CC. Then next point is important, right? Important one. Okay, so you can write the maximum rate of heat transfer, for parallel or counter flow, the maximum rate of heat transfer for parallel or counter flow, would be occur for parallel or counter flow would be occur if the outlet temperature of the fluid, the maximum rate of heat transfer for parallel or counter flow would be occur if the outlet temperature of the fluid, with smaller value of fluid capacity, that is C minimum, where to be equal to the inlet temperature of other fluid, then we can consider that heat transfer as a maximum heat transfer. Okay, where to be equal to the inlet temperature of the other fluid. So we can write Q max is equal to CH inside bracket Th1 minus Tc1. Q max is equal to CH inside bracket Th1 minus Tc1. Here Th2 is equal to Tc1 and CH is equal to C minimum. Here Th2 is equal to Tc1 and CH is equal to C minimum. Okay, then or also we can write Q max is equal to If you are getting Cc is equal to C minimum, in that case you can write Q max is equal to Cc inside bracket Th1 minus Tc1. Okay, Q max is equal to Cc inside bracket Th1 minus Tc1. Okay, so here Tc2 is equal to Th1 and Cc is equal to C minimum. Okay, Tc2 is equal to Th1 and Cc is equal to C minimum. Okay, then we can write the effectiveness as effectiveness which is equal to Q divided by Q max. So Q can be written as Ch inside the bracket Th1 minus Th2 and Q max is C minimum inside bracket Th1 minus Tc1. Th1 minus Tc1, or else you can also write Cc inside bracket Tc2 minus Tc1 whole divided by C minimum inside bracket Th1 minus Tc1. Okay, then once the effectiveness is known, the heat transfer, actual heat transfer rate. Okay, so which one we are going to calculate? The actual heat transfer rate. Once the effective is known, the heat transfer rate can be very easily calculated by using the equation Q is equal to eta multiplied by C minimum inside bracket Th1 minus Tc1. Okay, is there any question, any doubt about this effectiveness point? Have you written all the points, okay, about the effectiveness? And one problem we have discussed about the LMTD method. If you don't have any doubt, you can just put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave this meeting.